Hey guys, welcome back. Now, the last time we read, Jack and Annie were with Black Hawk to go see the buffalo, and Black Hawk had caused the buffalo to stampede. But Annie was in the middle of all the buffalo and they were calming down. And we were going to find out why they were calming down. So we are ready to read chapter 7. We're actually going to finish out the book today, Buffalo Before Breakfast. So we're going to read chapters 7 through 10 today and find out what happened with Annie to cause the buffalo to calm down. And we're going to see if they can get what they need. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do chapter 7, White Buffalo Woman. She has good medicine, said Black Hawk. Annie doesn't have any medicine, Jack said. She just has animals. Black Hawk was silent. He climbed back on his waiting pony. Then he rode down toward Annie. Jack followed. Annie trailed behind. Annie turned to Jack and Black Hawk as they rode up to her. On her face was a look of amazement. You won't believe what happened, she said. You stopped the stampede, said Black Hawk. But it wasn't just me, said Annie. What do you mean? asked Jack. I was trying to find Teddy, said Annie, and I got in the way of the buffalo. I couldn't escape, so I held up my hands and shouted, Stop! Then out of nowhere, a beautiful lady in a white leather dress came to help me. You saw a lady in white? Asked Black Hawk. His eyes had grown wide. Yes, Annie. She held up her hands and the buffalo stopped running. Then she disappeared. Where's Teddy? Said Jack. Annie asked. I don't know. I forgot about him, she said. Teddy! Teddy! Little dog came bounding out of the grass toward them. Annie scooped him up. Teddy licked her face all over. Where did you go? Annie asked him. Did you see the beautiful lady too? That lady does not live on this earth, Black Hawk said softly. What do you mean? Said Annie. You saw the spirit of White Buffalo Woman, he said. What do you mean, spirit? Said Jack. You mean like a ghost? Black Hawk turned his pony around. Let us go back, he said. I must tell grandmother. Annie put Teddy in Jack's bag. Then she climbed on her pony and they took off. Behind them, the buffalo grazed peacefully on the plains. Chapter 8, Sacred Circle. The sun was going down as the three ponies galloped for home. The deep blue sky was streaked with golden red light. Back at the Lakota camp, the circle of teepees glowed in the setting sun. People were gathered around a large fire. Black Hawk led Jack and Annie to the camp. They got off their ponies and went over to the fire. Grandmother rose to greet them. You have been gone a long time, she said. Black Hawk looked her bravely in the eyes. Grandmother, I tried to hunt the buffalo alone, he said. One charged at me, but Jack saved my life. Then Annie and White Buffalo Woman stopped all the other buffalo from a stampede. Let this be a lesson to you, Grandmother said sternly. Your pride led you to show off. Showing off made you behave foolishly. Your foolishness frightened a buffalo. He frightened others. One thing always leads to another. Everything is related. I'm sorry, said Black Hawk. He hung his head. I have learned. Jack felt sorry for Black Hawk. I made mistakes sometimes too, he said softly. Me too, said Annie. Grandmother looked at Jack and Annie. Buffalo Girl and Rides Like Wind showed great courage today, she said. Jack smiled. He loved his new Lakota name, Rides Like Wind. We welcome you to our family, said Grandmother. The evening shadows spread over the camp. Someone began beating a drum. It sounded like a heartbeat. Come, sit with us in our circle, said Grandmother. They sat with her near the warm fire. The breeze blew sparks into the gray twilight. An old man held a long pipe up to the sky. He pointed it to the east and the south, the west and the north. Then he passed the pipe to the next man in the circle. The man put the pipe to his lips and blew smoke into the golden firelight. Then he passed it on. The smoke from the sacred pipe joins all things to the Great Spirit, Grandmother said to Jack and Annie. Here's the picture of them around the campfire. The Great Spirit? Asked Annie. The Great Spirit is the source of all things in the sacred circle of life, said Grandmother. It is the source of all spirits. What spirits? Asked. There are many, said Grandmother. Wind spirits, tree spirits, bird spirits. Sometimes they can be seen, sometimes not. What about the white buffalo woman? Said Jack. Who is she? She is a messenger of the Great Spirit, said Grandmother. He sent her when the people were starving. She brought a sacred pipe so that our prayers could rise to the Great Spirit. He answers by sending us the buffalo. Why do you think the white buffalo woman came to me? Asked Annie. Sometimes courage can summon help from the beyond, Grandmother said. She pulled a brown and white feather from a buckskin bag. She put the feather on the ground in front of Jack and Annie. This is a gift for you, she said, an eagle's feather for your courage. Arf, arf! Teddy wagged his tail. Jack and Annie smiled at each other. The eagle's feather was their gift from the blue prairie. Their mission was complete. The chanting and drum beats grew louder and louder. Then they stopped. The old man held the pipe up to the sky. All things are related, he said. The pipe smoking ceremony was over. The sky was dark and filled with stars. One by one, people rose from the circle and went to their teepees. Jack put the eagle's feather in his bag and yawned. We better go home now, he said. You must rest first, said Grandmother. You can leave in the dawn. Good plan, said Annie. She was yawning too. They went with Grandmother and Black Hawk to their teepee. Grandmother pointed to two buffalo robes that lay to one side of the still burning fire. Annie stretched out on them. Teddy snuggled between them. Grandmother and Black Hawk lay on robes across from them. Jack watched as the bluish-white smoke rose from the fire. It went up through the teepee hole and into the endless starry night. Jack listened to the wind blowing through the grass. Shh, shh, shh. It's the voice of the Great Plains, he thought. Then he drifted off to sleep. Chapter 9, Lakota School. Jack felt Teddy licking his cheek. He opened his eyes. Gray light came through the smoke hole. The fire was out. The teepee was empty. Jack jumped up. He grabbed a bag and hurried outside with Teddy. In the cool light before dawn, everyone was taking down their teepees. They were loading them onto wooden platforms strapped to two poles. The poles were pulled by horses. Grandmother and Black Hawk piled tools and clothes onto their platform. Annie stuffed buffalo meat into a rawhide bag. What's happening? Jack asked. It is time to follow the buffalo, said Grandmother. We will camp somewhere else for a few weeks. Jack pulled out his notebook. He still had many questions, but he tried to choose just a few. Can you camp anywhere? He asked. Even when you don't own the land? People cannot own land, he said. Or Black Hawk laughed. People cannot own land, he said. The land belongs to the Great Spirit. Jack wrote in his notebook. Land owned by Great Spirit, not people. What about school? Said Jack. Don't you have to go to school? What is school? Black Hawk said. It's a place where kids go to learn things, Jack explained. Black Hawk laughed again. There's not one place, only one place to learn, he said. In camp, we learn to make clothes, tools, and teepees. On the plains, we learn to ride and hunt. We look at the sky and learn courage from the eagle. Jack wrote, Lakota school is everywhere. Grandmother turned to Jack and Annie. Will you walk with us toward the sunset? She asked. Jack shook his head. We have to go the other way, he said, toward the sunrise. Thank you for the eagle's feather, said Annie. Let your thoughts rise as high as that feather, said Grandmother. It is good medicine. What does that mean? Jack asked. Good medicine. Medicine connects you to the world of the spirits, she said. Jack nodded, but he still didn't really understand. Goodbye, Buffalo Girl and rides like the wind, said Grandmother. We wish you a safe journey. Jack and Annie waved. Then they started walking back the way they'd come. Teddy ran ahead of them. At the top of the rise, they looked back. Grandmother, Black Hawk, and the rest of the tribe were watching. Jack and Annie both held up 2 fingers for friend. Then they took off down the slope. They ran across the prairie, through the tall whispering grass, all the way back to the treehouse. Annie put Teddy in the leather bag. She and Jack climbed up the rope ladder. They looked out the window one last time. The ocean of grass was golden in the early light. By now, the Lakota are walking west, Jack thought. Soon everything will change, he said sadly. The buffalo will vanish. The old way of life for the Lakota will vanish too. But the Great Spirit won't ever vanish, said Annie. It will always take care of Black Hawk's people. Jack smiled. Annie's words made him feel better. Arf, arf! Teddy barked as if to say, let's go. Okay, okay, said Jack. He picked up the Pennsylvania book and pointed at a picture of Frog Creek. I wish we could go home to our people, he said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Chapter 10, Good Medicine. We're home, said Annie. Bright sunlight flooded the treehouse. Teddy licked Jack and Annie's face. They were back in their jeans and t-shirts. Hey, silly, Annie said to the dog. Now we have the second thing to help free you from your spell. She took the eagle's feather out of Jack's backpack. She put it on Morgan's note next to the silver pocket watch from the Titanic. Now we have our gift from the prairie blue, said Jack. Let your thoughts rise as high as this feather. Hey, I just had a thought, said Annie. What? Said Jack. I bet Teddy had something to do with the white buffalo woman, she said. Why? Jack. 1 second, Teddy disappeared in the grass, and the buffalo woman appeared, said Annie. When white buffalo woman disappeared, Teddy appeared. Said Jack. He stared at the little dog. Teddy tilted his head and gave Jack a wise look. Well, said Jack, maybe Teddy has good medicine. Now you understand, said Annie, smiling. Jack! Annie! Call came from the distance. Jack and Annie looked out the window of the treehouse. Their mom and their grandmother were standing on their porch. Yay, grandmother's here, said Annie. We're coming, they shouted together. Let's put Teddy in your backpack, said Annie, so we can take him home with us this time. Okay, said Jack. But when they turned around, the little dog was gone. Teddy? Said Annie. There was no sign of him. Oh, man, as soon as we turned our backs, he slipped away, said Jack, just like last time. Don't worry, said Annie. He'll find us again soon. I'm sure of it. She started down the rope ladder. Jack grabbed his pack and followed. As they started for home, a wind gusted through the trees. Jack stopped for a moment to look at the woods. Branches waved their leaves. Birds left the branches and swooped up into the blue sky. Black Hawk's grandmother is right, he thought. All things are related. Jack, called Annie. Coming, said Jack. He hurried to catch up with her. Together, they ran out of the Frog Creek woods, up their street, and into their grandmother's arms. Now, there is an extra little area in the book that I'm going to read to you guys, and it's the legend of the white buffalo woman. So, hold on just a second. The legend of white buffalo woman. Long ago, when the Lakota had no game to hunt, a beautiful woman in white buckskin appeared. She gave the chief of the tribe a pipe. It had a buffalo carved on its round bowl and eagle feathers hanging from its long wooden stem. White Buffalo Woman told the chief that the smoke from the sacred pipe would carry prayers to the Great Spirit. The Great Spirit would answer by helping the Lakota find buffalo to hunt. White Buffalo Woman also said that the pipe smoke would join all living things to the Lakota tribe. The pipe bowl represents the earth. The buffalo carved upon it represented all four-legged animals that live upon the earth. The pipe's wooden stem represented all that grows on the earth. The 12 eagle feathers hanging from it represented all winged creatures. As White Buffalo Woman walked away from the tribe, she turned into a white buffalo calf, one of the rarest animals of all. The legend of the White Buffalo Woman has been handed down from generation to generation by Lakota people. There's also some facts. Okay, number 1, the Lakota tribe has also been called the Sioux. Now, we talked about the Sioux tribe in read-alouds in a few of our lessons. Today, most Lakota live on reservations in North and South Dakota. Reservations are areas of land reserved for Native Americans by the U.S. government. Lakota parents and grandparents still pass on the traditional beliefs of their people to their children. The true name of the buffalo is bison. Bison came to North America during the Ice Age and at one time were the biggest group of large mammals on the continent. In the 1800s, the U.S. Army was at war with the Native Americans of the plains. They knew the Native American way of life could not survive without the bison, so they decided to kill all the herds. In the years that followed, millions of bison were killed until there were only a few hundred left. In the early 1900s, many people were upset by the killing of the bison. They asked the government to help save these animals. Captive bison were sent to Yellowstone National Park and protected from hunters. Almost 2,500 bison live there today. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed our book, Buffalo Before Breakfast. And I would like for you guys to think how it would be if you lived like the Lakota people. Would you be brave like Black Hawk and go hunt the buffalo? Would you be brave like Annie and stop the buffalo from stampeding? I don't know. All right, friends, I'll see you on our next lesson. Bye.